Thank you for all coming out this morning to support the beautiful ladies behind Beautiful Junque. I did not intend that to be my name is Sarah Hoffman, and I'm with Project 412. Project 412 is a placemaking organization in Detroit Lakes. Thank you. And our goal is to elevate the cultural and economic vibrancy of the Lakes area. And as I'm sure you've heard Amy Stern say, mostly, we just want to do cool stuff. And so we understand that starting a business can be daunting and overwhelming. And so we wanted to create a culture and a community for people to come and to feel connected and inspired and really just understand what running a business is all about. So welcome to Deep Dive DL, our speaking series, where we take a deep dive into the stories of local entrepreneurs. And I'm going to pass it over to Alicia Bowers and Carol Foltz of Beautiful Junque.
All right, thank you, Sarah. Wow, I didn't think this many people would come for the first one. A little intimidating, but we're just going to go with it, right, Carol?
Yeah, the script she gave me, I couldn't memorize it, so we're winging it.
So I guess we're just supposed to tell our story, a little bit of our background, how we got started, and to tell you the honest truth, we have no background in retail whatsoever. So I guess how Beautiful Junque got started, well, I want to say I knew Mom was retiring from 17 years of teaching, so I knew I had to keep her busy. Or 19, no, sorry. So I knew I had to keep her busy, so here we are. But no, in all honesty, I think it started, a seed was planted years ago, just watching my parents were entrepreneurs themselves. If you didn't know, my mom and aunt had their own business, Foltz Finishers, so she knows how to paint, wallpaper, all those things. And I remember growing up watching her working hard and doing all that. And then my dad obviously started his own business too, Foltz Buildings. And I just remember, when you start out in a business, we didn't have a lot. Mom always said we grew up in a house held together by wallpaper. You could feel the wind blowing through the woods in that house. But the thing I remember most is it always felt like home, and she always made it feel like home with what we had. And we'd go garage sailing, and we'd load up that gray station wagon with all the goods, and a minivan too. And we repurposed what people didn't want and gave it a new home. And I remember going to small boutiques too as a child and teen, and the feeling when you walk into those boutiques versus big stores, it's just a different feeling. And I always remember that feeling. It felt like home, the smells, just the feeling, the people, they were so much more welcoming, and that feeling stayed with me. Do you want to add anything on that?
Sure. Yes, my first sofa was a $30 garage sale, orange velvety sofa.
Which would be really cool.
Yeah, I wonder where that ended up. But anyway, she always said she was born in the wrong era. She should have been born in the time of Laura Ingalls Wilder back in Little House on the Prairie days. But we did have fun going to garage sales, and I always like to create and make things and paint. I'm still painting. Not for hire, but I think I've painted in every single house that all of my kids have lived in, including out in Vegas. And just like to be creative. We work well together because what one can't do, the other one maybe can, or if we put our heads together, we can figure it out. And we've come a long way, baby.
Yeah. So with that being said, there was a seed planted a long time ago. I said, don't have a degree in retail or business or any of that, but I did end up staying home with my children, and we did a lot of repurposing. And I just remember all of a sudden wanting to do a craft show, because we've always been creative, and you have that itch to just create and make things. So I remember doing our first craft show as a Frazee craft show. I don't know, has anyone ever been there? Yeah, so that was our first craft show. I think I sewed, I did everything, made Christmas stockings out of burlap, if you can believe that. And yeah, and then we did the Purim craft show would be our next one. And then I remember one time at our country house, we had, my whole house was full of all the crafts, all the furniture. Paint was drying the night before we loaded up the trailer. And
Yeah, that was in November. I think we were going to Thief River, was it?
yeah, the vintage carnival.
Yeah, and we had a trailer to load and haul there, and she was right. There was stuff everywhere. It was just hilarious. We took over the whole house with things, and then we had to load it up, and it was very icy traveling there.
First
And
time driving pulling a
we
trailer.
made it, and we were the last ones to get set up and the last ones to get torn down. And something really funny happened, but although it's rather embarrassing, one of the signs that I had made, you know, the old wood on the back and the cut out letters and everything made of wood, and it was the word family, but I spelled it wrong.
She's a teacher.
I think it was Family.
We couldn't figure out why no one was buying it.
You're in a big hurry, and I don't know, these things happen. And so one of our friends, you know, brought it around the corner, I'm like, oh. How many people saw that? But it was a good laugh.
Yeah. So we did start out with the craft shows, traveling to different junk market events. We did the junk market several times in Fargo, Carrington. I don't know if anyone's ever been to Carrington, but North Dakota, that's a big one. That was fun. We had to set up in a cow stall. No kidding. So
Yeah, we were in the barn.
we were in the barn, but we made it look beautiful. I'm not gonna lie. So I wish we had before and after pictures of that. But
Yeah, it was fun.
so, and then we were at Sulane's Antique Mall. We got our first little tiny corner booth there, and then we grew that spot to a double booth, and we were so excited. And we were there for how many years? 6 years?
Something like that.
6 years. And we did start out doing a lot of our handmade, repurposed things, but we did add in new because it's really hard to fill a whole spot with all handmade and all repurposed items. It takes a lot of time. And then we also were at the flea market. I don't know if any of you guys have been to when we were out at the flea market for, I think it was a couple summers. Well, we started out with just bringing a tent out there. That's a lot of work. It's setting up. And then we got a bid in on a actual building, and we're there for a couple years. It was really nice having a permanent spot out there. And then we just, all during this time, it was always like, in the back of my head, it would be so nice to have a spot right in town, a little small boutique like the ones they used to walk into when I was young, and that feeling you'd get. And you know, I'd always she didn't keep an eye open for our building.
Go with the flow.
I always keep an eye open and be dreaming about it. And then I think it was 2018, maybe January or December of 2017, maybe, we saw this building.
Yeah, we're driving by in the car on the road here, Washington Avenue, and she says, "Look at," and this building was for sale, or I believe
Well,
for
it was
sale,
for
or there was
lease
a
first,
for
but
lease a
then-
sign. I don't know.
then it for
Anyway, she
sale.
goes, "We're going to be in there someday," and I'm like, "Yeah, right." What are you talking about? Anyway, whatever. Dream. Here we are.
So yeah, that's pretty much how I said it. I think we're gonna be in there someday.
Yeah.
And we started doing some talking, and and hoping and praying that it wouldn't go right away, and came and looked at it several times, and it was quite a mess when you first came in here. Didn't look anything like a retail space, but we had a vision, and there's a lot of ups and downs in retail or in any small business. If I look back, I wish I would have had a little better plan of what we were going to do, but we did know that we had a lot of junk, and we did use a lot of repurposed items upstairs as we finished the building, which helped a lot on cost, because does cost a lot to start up a business, and but those things really helped you reusing what we already had, because like I said, we moved and I had a barn full of junk, beautiful junk. I should talk about how we came up with our name too. Well, obviously we started more with the junk and redoing stuff, but we didn't want to just call it the regular junk. It was beautiful junk, and we had to spell it fancy. But we still get phone calls from people that are, is this junk Q or junk quit? Like, well, it's beautiful junk, but it's just spelled fancy. So that's how that came up. We had several different names, but that's the one that stuck the most. And here we are. There's lots of things that starting out. If you're a new business owner or thinking about starting your business, I would have done differently. You're learning every day. It is not a one-stop thing. You have to continue learning as you go. Every year there's more to learn, and continuing education. We have this group called the Boutique Hub, which I also wish I would have known about when we started. It's a great community. Their motto is community over competition. And that's how, where's Barb at? Kind of how we started the Lake Chic Street group, which is awesome to have in town. And it's just grown and grown. Now Heidi's a part of it as well. And it's just so awesome to have like-minded people that know what you're going through as a business owner.
POS system? What's that? I had no idea, never heard of it before. Point of sales. Oh, you mean the cash register? So, learned a ton. She kept saying, I wish I knew more about business, how to do that. But we had a lot of help. You have to ask for help, and we had nice people that were established in their businesses that would, you could go to them and get help and ideas, and just like she said, it's always learning, and always something to do, even beyond the POS system, which I do not operate, by the way, because it's a computer. But there's a ton of things to be done behind the scenes, and that's what I like to do. And we've evolved, as and might evolve back to some of the things that when we started out. But it's a learning curve, and when the going gets tough, then you just get tougher and keep going.
Yes.
We're not quitters.
No, that's for sure. Yeah. So, I don't know anything. Oh, I gotta show you this. So people always are like, where do you get your ideas? Of course, you have some ideas, and then nowadays there's Pinterest, but this is what I used to do. There's nothing better than old good fashioned magazines, and this is what I used to do. I had many of these full of ideas. So we always said we had too many ideas for the time that we had. So we always ran out of time.
This is my idea of Pinterest. I like this. I'm old school.
So, anything. I forgot this. So also I used to play store when I was little, and this is my first time card. It's an old Foltz. This is what Foltz buildings used to have for time card. But I didn't have to start work till 1 or 1:30, but I didn't get done till 7. So that's my very first time card. So I do have this taped up in our back office just to remind us.
Her and her cousin Aubrey used to play store all the time,
Yeah.
and they would, make little things. And it's funny because Aubrey is an interior design person, and we've used her expertise a few times, and she's a businesswoman now, and so it's fun.
So I don't know. Yeah, if any questions?
Did you want to tell them about the book?
Oh yes. Okay. So sorry. I'm not used to a mic. So a couple years into the business, which I wish I would have read this book before, I came across this Profit First book. and it says transform your business from cash eating to money making machine. Well, we aren't a monster making money machine by any means, but
Still working on it.
but we are still here, and it will be 6 years in June 1st. It will be 6 years as a storefront. With COVID in there. But if I have any piece of advice for a new business owner, it would be to read this book. It just takes the finances to the next level. You learn about allocating your money to all different accounts. I did have to open up about 10 different accounts, but that's all right. The bank was like, oh, but maybe other people do that. But it was just so nice because then you have everything in its place. You're not taking from other places, and you know that it's there when you need it. And that was just a game changer, because the first 2 years I did not do that. And, you know, come when sales and use tax were due, we're like, oh, shoot, there, you know, you're spending it on the retail part, or, you know, you just think it's there. Oh, you can spend it. Well, that's not the case. So that was a definite game changer, and I would suggest to anyone starting a business, doesn't have to be retail, just any business, that to follow this. And it was great. So
Yeah. It's gonna add two things, I think. I can think of one of them. And my husband always said, your company is only as good as the people who work for you. And so,
well, yeah, don't make me cry now, dang it. So we've had several workers throughout the years, but we do have a couple that are down here. Tansy, she's been with us for several years. And then Diane has been with us from the very start in one shape or form. So we do appreciate that so much. It is true. Finding workers is tough nowadays, and finding good ones is really tough. So when you find them, keep them, hold on to them. So we appreciate that so much. And then of course the customers are like,
yeah, that was my other thing.
You can't we can't be here unless our community and people shop with us, and we make those relationships, and that's what I love most about it. So, all right.
All right, now we are going to open up to audience questions. Does anyone have a question? There's got to be somebody. Yes.
You said that you've had the storefront for about 6 years. When you started doing craft shows and everything to where you are now, how many years has that been?
Our first craft show was in 2012 is when we started. So what would that be?
Let me see, it's 20 more.
12. So it's been 12, right? Yeah, 12 years. So winemakers, yeah.
Let me get my
and it flew by actually when you think about it. I don't know. Time flies when you're having fun.
Oh yeah.
Tim?
Oh yeah, Tim.
How hard or how challenging is it for the family dynamics being business partners?
Well, sometimes that.
We know your sisters.
Sometimes that back room can get hairy, but
We're lucky we have a unique situation. I'm not sure how, I'm pretty easy to get along with. And so if we do have a moment, which we do, we just, a few minutes later, we're laughing about it. So
yeah.
Some people in my family I could not work with, but I can work with her.
Yeah, of course you're always going to have those moments,
Yeah.
but we do really get over them really fast.
Yeah.
And they say laughter is the best medicine, and that's our policy, and we do that a lot. So.
And, you know, we're honest about it and stuff. So
Yep.
you just confront and then you concede.
Oh, man. Well, you take turns, dude. Yeah, no, we are pretty lucky, though. I am really blessed to get to work alongside my mom every day. Not a lot of people have that opportunity, and she is very easygoing and a hard worker. So there's all those things in the back that people don't think of when you are in business that are everyday monotonous things that have to be done, like, well, the shipping and the emptying of the boxes that come in, and then recycling. She's my recycle gal.
And
She's
then there's
so
the
good at it.
garbage and
So it's all those little things that sometimes you take for granted, but are daily tasks that she is awesome at. So, anyone else?
I do. Did you, okay, so, you know, I'm like alone, right? But
Mhm.
I've considered hiring people, but my big thing is employment taxes. I don't know, did you guys lawyer up? That's kind of my question.
Well, yeah, well, as a LLC, we had to get all that through a lawyer, so
So
we
you
do have
did do it
that,
through a
but,
lawyer.
and then we don't do our own payroll, we do have someone doing that for us, so that
Okay.
we are protected in that way
So you
too.
get all that
Yeah,
covered?
mm-hmm,
Okay. So you
Yeah.
do outsource that
Yeah,
stuff? Is
yeah.
kind of a better question.
that kind of stuff, we both are more of the creative
Same.
side, that's why the business
Yeah.
side was it's a learning, been a learning thing along the way, so, yeah. Anyone else?
Can I
Yes,
ask,
oh,
sorry, where do you do your, where do you source that through?
Pro.
You do it?
Yeah, mhm.
I was gonna guess.
Yeah.
When did you guys decide to go from your, say, your spot on food market to an actual brick and mortar? When did you think, was there a certain profit margin that said you could actually afford to do it?
Do you know us? We just jump in and then we're like, oh, geez. So that's where I was saying, like, I wish, looking back, I wish we would have had a little bit more of a plan on going into that, because we kind of just jumped in fast, which you almost have to do if you're really serious about getting on Washington Avenue. So you didn't have a lot of time to, I mean, we've been thinking about it for many years, but when the opportunity came up, we didn't have a lot of time to jump on it. So yeah, there was no, we did it, and then now we're taking care of that later. I wouldn't suggest that though.
And it's never a guarantee from one day to the
Yeah.
next. You know, some days are good and some days are like crickets.
Like we
So,
shouldn't even have the door open.
yeah.
You know, it's just that's what
So
retail
in
is.
retail, it ebbs and flows. You just have to, you know, hope that all the tourists come in the summer. No, but yeah, it's up and down. You know, there's no guarantee. You never know.
I should say, one thing we did know about this building though that we knew would help us is that it does have rentals. So there's 3 rental units above, so we knew that would help supplement what we needed to pay, especially it's helped a lot in the winter time. That has been I mean, sometimes it can be hairy being a landlord, but we've been pretty lucky so far. It's always been full. We've never had a problem with that, and it has really helped in those slow times to have that. So, yeah.
She's got one.
So just out of curiosity, you said that it was for lease initially, so when did you decide to buy, or did you buy it right out?
It was for lease, but then it all of a sudden changed to for sale, and then I saw it because I kind of was stalking the building. You'll drive by Washington Avenue, so, and then all of a sudden one day it said for sale. So I didn't really want to do lease if we didn't have to. So yeah, and the fact that it had the rentals, I knew that would help a lot. So yeah. Oh yes.
Hi.
Do you have
We'll
a,
get you.
yes.
What's your great idea about bringing more people in for the winter?
Our
All
great.
your businesses.
Oh, for bringing more people? Like what? Oh gosh. Well, for the 412 project. For winter, it is tough. You know, we tried to. That's what Lake Chic Street. We tried to get events that will draw so that there's many people on Washington Avenue, so that would draw more people in. It's not just one shop. You're more likely when you work all together. We found that you're more likely to get more people to come in because it's not just one place. They'll go to all the places then. So that was kind of one of the reasons why we started the Lake Chic Street group too, is try to figure out ways that we can bring more business in, especially on those slow seasons. And also the live sales. we started doing that during COVID, and that has helped a lot. We have some people that I don't know if they've ever stepped foot in our store, but they've shopped the lives, so that helps during the slow times as well.
Nancy, did you?
I was just wondering if they have the SCORE program in DL. Does anybody know?
SCORE program?
SCORE. So it's retired business people, mostly men, just from the good old days. And they volunteer their time to help people set up the business aspect of a shop.
There is a Prairies and Lakes one for the region. There's a Prairie and Lakes one for the region.
Okay.
Yeah, they used to. I've met
And if you need any help getting connected with them, the DL Chamber can help with that.
Yeah, that's an invaluable resource for the business side of it.
Okay.
The accounting, the taxes, all of setting up that. And they come alongside you in a mentor capacity, so that might have been if you had known about it. I just,
Yeah.
and it's free.
yeah,
Oh,
it's free.
wow.
Yeah.
And they have years and years. They're pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, so you can do a SCORE mentorship, and then prior to that too, you can meet with SBDC. They're a really great resource, and they help people do business planning and figure out all your financial projections and everything like that. And they're a free resource as well. So they're great. I wanted you to talk, we were talking earlier before this started, a bit about when you're trying something new and how it can be a little overwhelming, and Carol has a great explanation of what she compares this to.
Well, this has happened quite a few times in our, setting up things, different ideas, events, arranging things, setting up, and she will just get frustrated and say, oh, look at this. Wow, this isn't right. I can't do it. Or, I don't know. And then I just say, oh, the birthing pains are coming up. And we go through the birthing pains, and then finally, I said, you'll get it. Just keep going. You'll get it. You'll get it. And she does get it every time. So she goes through the birthing pains, and then sometimes they're shorter and sometimes they're longer. And then finally, there it is, and the baby is born.
I think, that is true. Every event, everything, and I don't know. I'm sure some of you can relate. That self-doubt will creep in, and it's just sometimes a natural thing. But that's where Mom is always good. She's my biggest cheerleader, and she gets me through those birthing pains. 'Cause every time I'm like, oh my gosh, this doesn't look right. This is what if no one shows up? It's all those natural thoughts of being a business owner, but it always turns out great. So, yeah, birthing pains.
How have you involved your children in the business and obviously the transition?
Oh, yes. Well, as like I said, I stayed home with them when they were younger. I mean, I did a lot of odds and end jobs throughout the years, but they would help. I remember when we were creating things in our barn boutique, because we had I don't even think I mentioned that. At our country home, we had occasional sales out there and had a barn boutique, and they would be alongside helping. We'd give them jobs to do, sand something, paint something.
Brody, her son, made a little stool. It's so cute. Do you still have it? I think you still have it. I don't know what it says on the top of it, family or something, but it's just crude and cute. And we just couldn't sell that because it was so cute. And they would help us. We would call them our junk hunt crew or something like that. And And some of her daughters have worked here in the store too.
Yeah, I was gonna say they have helped work in the store. Ella is still helping out here as well. Haven't got Brody on the floor yet. Don't know if he'll I don't know if he'll do that, but yeah, they've helped in many ways. Hauling things. When they were younger, they helped make things. I have Ella take pictures for me for social media, which helps a lot. She'll try on the clothes. So they've been involved in many different aspects along the way.
My husband's supposed to be retired, but he's not. He keeps going to work, but then he says, oh, I'll come and work at Beautiful Junque. I'm like, no. They're like, no, we're keeping him out of here. He would give everything away.
Yeah, he said he'd be like the Walmart grader when they went. I'm like, oh boy. But that could be entertaining actually. So maybe we'll try that out.
So, what are you excited for most in the next year?
Oh, in the next year, well, I'm just excited to see how each year unfolds. There's always something that surprises us that we learn, whether good or bad, but you always, even from the mistakes you learn from. But I'm always excited for the summer crew. It's always so much fun when all the lake people come back, and it's just that different vibe, in the summer, that buzzing vibe, and I don't know.
Well, it's really been fun watching Detroit Lakes develop in the last few years here. The neat things that are going on. Love looking at all that artwork out there.
Yes.
And I'm like, how did they do that? We were in Oaks, North Dakota the other day, and we saw some chickens on someone's wall, and I said, "That's Anna," and it was. And the projects that are coming up, the trolls and the artwork and all that, it's so cool. Yeah, Detroit Lakes is just blossoming.
Yeah, it is.
So it's exciting.
And then, what's one thing that we as a community can do to support you, aside from shopping? We will all shop here.
Number one, shop.
As a community, I guess, anytime that people can share events on social media, give a shout out, all those little things help so much more than people realize. So anytime you see any local business have something going on, if you can give it a like, comment, share, that just reaches even more people. The Facebook world and that algorithm, man, that's one thing I'm still learning. So it's a beast, that world, but that does help a lot. And then just spreading the word of mouth too. So you have any?
Yeah. Ditto. What she said.
Are there any more questions before we wrap it up?
I do have one. So if you met an entrepreneur or somebody that had an idea, young, old, whatever, you said you wish you would have known then what you know now.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give this person that they have like a passion, they have an idea, and what would you say to them, like in one little sentence or conversation?
Oh boy. Well, I would definitely have them reach out to someone that's already in it, sit down with them, get advice from them, definitely have a solid business plan going in, not just jump in with everything all at once. And finances, like looking at that finances, like I said, if I would have known about this profit first, but I mean, we're the creative brain. So, and that's what a lot of like retail people I feel like they're more of the creative side. So it's that business side. So getting to know the business side before you just jump in, doing a lot of research and getting to know your numbers before you just jump in is the biggest thing.
But if you do have a passion about something, dare to dream.
Yeah.
Don't just talk yourself out of it.
Yeah.
You have to go out on a limb, and way back when Dave was trying to set up Foltz buildings, he wanted me to help make a logo, and I'm like, what's that? What's a logo? But you just keep working hard, dare to do it, and get some help, plan a little bit. But I don't know if we talked too about our vendors that we have that make things and come into our store, which makes our store a little bit unique. We really love all of their creations too, and just adds a great variety, but and gives them an outlet to share their product with other people. But dare to dream.
Yeah, for sure. I would definitely tell, like Mom said, don't just think you can't, because I mean, I've had that thought many a times, and we're still here, so.
I have to ask, do you still have the family sign? the one that's spelled.
No.
What did we do?
We fixed it.
We fixed it.
We fixed
And
it.
it's
It's long gone.
Oh, God.
Well, thank you both for sharing your story with us. Thank you to everyone here for coming out. Deep Dive DL will be the third Thursday of every month. It'll be at various locations, either at the person's store or we'll have it in that room right when you go into the homes. There's the coffee shop at the museum. That'll be our other space. Yeah, and then if anyone is interested in starting a business, like I said, my name's Sarah Hoffman and I'm the ecosystem builder at 412, and I can help you get connected with people like SCORE and SBDC and any other resources you need.